I have the keyword business services. And as you can see here, it says that it's easy to rank and there is quite a lot of search volume. So this is pretty interesting. And also if you're looking at trend, the trend is really not bad. It went down a bit, then it got back up. And I think that this is a great keyword that we can actually use. And this is for another one of our test websites called servicecheetah.com. And I'm going to start optimizing for this keyword because as you can see here in my briefcase, it's got some pretty good stats. Now, let's see, let's go to a page. So I'm going here in WordPress to one of my pages. I think that I already have one that's been started. Pages. And I have the business services draft. Now, I'm not usually writing about business services. This is not something that I often find myself doing, so it's going to be pretty tricky in getting this page optimized. I will also try to make this page a focus page for this website, and I currently honestly have no idea how to do that. So my idea right now is to, of course, this is just an example, this is just to prove a point. This is like me taking the idea from a user perspective, right? So it's not that I don't know, it's just like if I were a user, this is what I could actually think about. So let's say that this is a new website that I'm trying out, and I'm going to write about business services. So the idea is that I really don't know what to write. So I have business services here, which is great in the title. I also have business services here, but let's see. So the keyword is present in the URL, check. Title is Google friendly. Well, it's not Google friendly because I've only written business services, which might seem like keyword stuffing. So, business services. (2019) the ultimate guide. Right, so let's say that this was the title. I'm not sure if it's the best title or not. I'm gonna do a lot of A/B testings afterwards, but for now I have the title and it's Google friendly, so that's all that I care about right now. And you can see here that I have an image in this post. Now the question is, how did this image come here? And this is not a thing that's related to the live assistant. This is actually related to something that we call the blogging assistant. It used to have a different name in the past, but now we call it the blogging assistant to provide more clarity regarding the area where it helps you the most. So I have this business services keyword right here. And now I go to images. And you will see that I have this image here, and I also have this image here. So the secret is, I've actually clicked on this link, and you can see that it writes photos provided by pixabay.com. I have others that are provided by Unsplash. So we have a huge collection of images, and all of them are copyright free, so you will never get sued for using them, which is a really great thing. And it's also super important to know that all of these have this N feature right here. You can see the N in the lower right corner, the N. That means that no attribution is required to use the images in your blog posts or your pages. And I have the check mark for show only copyright free images. Of course, you can decide to go past this and choose other ideas, other things that you may have, but know that then you will not be protected by our copyright free image kind of thing, and it will start searching on Google for different images, and that's something that you will use at your own risk if you want to use that. But for now, please leave the check to show only copyright free images, because this is one of the best things ever, and we've integrated a lot of databases with a lot of stock photos to help you with any kind of endeavor that you might have. And now let's say that maybe you don't like this image. So in case you don't like the images here, and you see that I can click on this blue button, and now it will open up more images. Yep, lots and lots of images. So let's say that you like none of these. You can go to not relevant and see, for example, just business. If you don't want to be with business services, you can just go to business. And maybe you prefer this photo. with these people right here, apparently having like sort of a tactical meeting inside of the office. And you will notice that you have the alternative text called business services. So even though you searched for this image using business, you have the alternative text that is the main keyword that you're currently optimizing for, because the blogging assistant works very well with the SEO Live Assistant to bring you such benefits. And of course, if you want to make sure that this image never gets taken down of the other website from which you've received your image by using this feature, you're actually going to host this yourself in your media folder, and this is something that the blogging assistant does for you without you having to go download the image, save it to a folder, then go to the media library in WordPress, upload it, searching for the folder, then really upload, then link to it in your blog post. So that would be like pretty complicated just to get one image inside of your article. Now, of course, you can opt out of this function, and I will show you that in WordPress, Squirrly SEO, Live Assistant, and settings, but you shouldn't do this. So if you're 100% certain you don't want to do this, then it's fine. You can definitely do that. You can opt for whatever you want, but you shouldn't do this, especially if you're taking images from other websites, because sometimes you're gonna make like a lot of bandwidth consumption, and they're gonna pay more for their hosting because you've taken images from their site, and they could get really angry. Or there's the other case where you have like an evergreen piece of content that's gonna get viewed 3 years from now, and 3 years from now the other site that you brought the piece of content from will not be available. So basically your really cool evergreen article that you've managed to rank is now showing no image, and that is very bad for user experience. So you should have the option to let the blogging assistant automatically save you and manage everything that you need for hosting the image. And also remember that the blogging assistant automatically gives you the alternative text, the alt text, the alt tag for the image based on the keyword that you're currently optimizing for. So this is pretty neat, because the blogging assistant, once you use it for an image, it will automatically complete the features in the Live Assistant shown here with use images or featured image, and use keywords in the alt text field. Right, now, let's say that I want to see what's up on Twitter. So, what do people talk about business? Oh, no, so right now I still have business here, so let's go back to business services. You can see that you can use this bar to search for whatever you want. So something about paying for Google My Business services. Some of you may already know about Google My Business, but this is not something that I would want to quote in my article. So why use the tweets that I have here? The idea is that you're trying to build credibility, you're trying to build authority with your website. Now, it's not necessarily the case of business services, which is, I guess, pretty well defined. It's not such an edgy case of writing. But in some cases where you try to prove a point, maybe it's best if you also write some ideas that experts are tweeting on the Twitter platform, and getting their quotes. Basically, their tweets are their quotes, and you can insert them in your articles to show that you have a lot of influencers and a lot of smart people validating some of the points that you're trying to prove with the article that you're currently writing. And that's just great journalism. So that's why you should really use the blogging assistant for such things. Now, of course, if you're writing for something boring like business services, it's very improbable that you will find awesome tweets to quote. But again, in some cases you will definitely find some really good tweets that you can place in your article, so that you prove a point and that you show your audience that you've done a lot of research and that you've also looked at different opinions from different people. And as I said, this really makes for really great journalism, and that's like one of the main points that we're trying to make with the blogging assistant. Now, of course, you can also look at articles from Wikipedia, and you can insert links to the pages from Wikipedia, or you can read them inside this interface. So I don't have a lot of great ideas. I mean, these are all business services. Everything that you see here are pages about business services, but they are about different companies offering business services. So this is not the case that I'm currently interested in. I want to read articles to see what other people have written about business services, so that I may get some ideas of my own and maybe make this page really, really interesting. So in that case, I will go ahead and click read it. So 26 examples, and this is pretty cool, right? Because you can already see the window here, and you can close it using this X button, and you can actually read a whole blog post in the same area where you are writing, so that you don't have to keep navigating between tabs and losing focus on your work. So this is like why the blogging assistant is really such a smart tool, and it's something that you should definitely use, especially if you're really writing a lot on your blog. So this is the blogging assistant for you. Now, business services are services that are primarily sold to organizations. So it's not like a business service is something that the business offers. It's actually a service that is meant to be offered to another company. So that's like a really important distinction to make. And if you're not certain about different terms, you can always really read smart articles from the web before you write down your page. Because in most cases, I've seen pages from the web where people wrote about coffee, and they were like, yeah, so this is premium coffee, and they didn't know that there's like a huge difference between premium coffee and specialty coffee. And you can really avoid problems with the audiences who are accustomed to premium coffee and specialty coffee, and really know what's going on there and not make a fool of yourself by using the blogging assistant and reading about something, especially if you're not super familiarized with the topic and with the thing that you're trying to discuss in your article. And of course, on Get Growth TV, I've actually made a video about this not so long ago. Let me just find it very, very quick. So there are lots of ideas. Of course, I'm logged in, so that's why you see it like this. How to avoid mistakes when doing keyword research. No, how to be a better blogger. So this is a super awesome video that you should take a look at, because it says how to be a better blogger, fact check your writing, and get your blogs found on Google. And this one tells you a lot more about using the blogging assistant and actually thinking about the content that you're trying to write. So I think this is the video where I give the example with the premium coffee, where you can easily mistake it for specialty coffee, and how reading it in the interface will help you avoid some pretty big mistakes. Right, so I can write about, so if I'm to write this page, I could write about computing, networks, communications, food marketing, engineering, services, and yeah, so this is really interesting. Of course, if you find something that's completely interesting in an article and you want to quote it, I'm not sure it's the case right here, but you can just copy and paste a couple of lines and then send the link to this article. Because as you can see here, now that you like it, you can insert it as a box inside of this article. And now you've quoted, so let's say that you're trying to write something like, I base some of my opinions on a couple of points that are written here in the article, and then you can just add this kind of box so that people from your audience will check the article if they're interested. And you can see that it places a really good looking piece of content here. Or if you don't want to insert this box, you can just offer a reference and it automatically links to that particular page. So this is always really good to have. Now, if you don't think that that's the article that you want to read, or you've finished reading it and taking ideas from it, and when I say taking ideas, it's like quoting really smart people who have said something really smart in an article, and not going and copying everything that you see inside of that piece of content, because that's not the point of the tool. This is the blogging assistant. It's made to help you write facts, write things that are smart, and be as journalistically correct as possible. You will see that even the human-friendly optimization here helps you be as great of a journalist as you can possibly be, especially since a lot of people don't really have like a lot of skills when it comes to writing, copywriting, and stuff like that. The blogging assistant and the human friendly check really help to make your articles the best that they can be without you having to train yourself and go to different courses and events where you could learn to write better. If you just really focus on your writing and you follow the instructions and you read a couple of articles, you add references, you think about things in a very smart way, you will see that you get really good writing inside of your blog posts. Right, and I also have this other button right here that says my articles. So no results found. Now, this is no results found because I don't have any other page on this website that's written about business services. But if I had, I could easily find the links and I could insert them so that I create some really good inner linking inside of my page. This is an example for another time, so stay tuned to getgrowth.tv. So this was all about the blogging assistant, and I will continue some of these ideas to show you how I will actually optimize a full page using the Squirrly SEO live assistant. But then again, this video was about the blogging assistant.